APEC kicking into high gear in San Francisco. This after a series of bilateral meetings took place between the U.S. and other member countries over the weekend.
Today, leaders from 21 different economies have started tackling independent global issues. NBC Bay Area's Conejero Saab live for us at the Moscone Center. And Ginger, I know you were there in the room with Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen and the dignitaries. Talk to us about what stood out.
Well, Marcus, Laura, what stood out is the context of APEC and its significance. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen mentioned in her opening remarks at the finance ministers meeting that is still going on here at the Moscone Center that member nations are part of the fastest growing, most dynamic economies in the world. That meeting, those leaders are still here at the Moscone Center. And you can imagine the kind of influence and power that are packed into San Francisco today that will only grow in the days to come. Now, leading up to today, there have been bilateral meetings throughout the weekend, but today, this is one of the first at this APEC where we saw representatives from the member countries join in that finance ministers meeting. That includes delegations from China, Hong Kong, Taipei, the Philippines, Mexico, Canada, as well as many others. So Secretary Yellen spoke about a shared vision of a dynamic Asia-Pacific community and the importance of coordination and collaboration, as you mentioned, Marcus, between member countries.
We need to further improve our long-term economic outlook by boosting labor supply, innovation, and infrastructure investment in ways that are also sustainable and reduce inequality. We need to put ourselves on a sustainable growth path, one where we safeguard our planet while providing our economies with the clean energy they need to grow.
Collaboration between member countries has proven difficult at times. There is high-stakes diplomacy at this APEC, specifically with regards to a confirmed meeting between President Joe Biden and Chinese President Xi Jinping. Secretary Yellen met with China's finance minister yesterday and China's vice premier before APEC even began. Now, speaking of President Biden, he will be here on Wednesday. He is expected to highlight the strength and resilience of the U.S. economy, economic ties with the Asia-Pacific, and a surge of job-creating investment from APEC economies in recent years. Now, many will be looking to APEC. What will come from APEC, if anything? Can this even help in the president's bid for re-election? I mean, those are some things that may come out of this, especially possibly those talks between the Chinese president and President Biden. We have a lot of eyes on San Francisco this week. We will continue coverage throughout the day and, of course, in the days to come. But really, you can expect that traffic and security to really tighten in the next couple of days. Marcus and Laura?
I would imagine, Ginger, a lot of eyes, a lot of security, as you just mentioned. This is all because the number of world leaders and other APEC dignitaries who will be coming and going, and protesters as well, who will be trying to get some of that attention.
NBC Bay Area's Kris Sanchez joins us now with a look at who's making an appearance.
The goal of the APEC conference is to improve economic cooperation and growth despite economic challenges like inflation and supply chain issues. Also, the goal is to transition to cleaner energy sources in a just way that is inclusive and sustainable for all. Now, U.S. Secretary of the Treasury Janet Yellen was part of the meetings that happened on Sunday, meeting with her counterparts from Mexico, China, Indonesia, and others. Through the week, President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, along with Secretary of State Antony Blinken, will also attend APEC. Additionally, China's president, Canada's prime minister, along with the presidents of the Philippines, Vietnam, and Mexico will be in attendance. Governor Gavin Newsom is among the keynote speakers we expect this week, and former Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice, Google CEO Sundar Pichai, Elon Musk of SpaceX, and Salesforce CEO Mark Benioff will also keynote. As attendees make their way to and from the Moscone Center, they may see rainbow lasers along Market Street as the ones that we saw during Pride. The head of Illuminate, the art organization behind the light display, says they have permission to use twice as many lasers. We know demonstrators will also be trying to draw attention to their causes, which could mean more traffic disruptions in addition to planned security closures closures around Moscone Center and Nob Hill. Fortunately, Mike Inouye is tracking all of those detours.
Yeah, the Moscone Center continues to be the focus of most of our summit security. It's the perimeter right here of Market, Harrison, 2nd, and 5th, right? It's going to be impacting local traffic, and transit will also reroute, and that includes the Central Subway through the rest of the week into the weekend. Big change, in fact, also for tomorrow. That's Tuesday. In the city, the 5th Street on and off ramps to and from the Bay Bridge, they're right here, right just off the Moscone Center perimeter, so they're closed through the end of the week as well. Same, look at this, for one lane in each direction across the Bay Bridge. That happens tomorrow morning by 5 a.m. Westbound, one lane. Your right lane will be closed. Eastbound, getting out of San Francisco, it will be your left lane. But either way, there's one fewer lane for the Bay Bridge traffic flow across the span all week. Plan on delays to and across the span, and I'm sure it's going to be lovely. Yeah, plan on delays.